Okay, thanks, Megan. Okay, good morning, everyone. Sorry we're running a little bit behind schedule. We were just having a couple technical issues, but thank you everyone who is joining us today. We are McMaster Social Sciences, and this is our Student Spring Virtual Open House. Thank you for joining wherever you are tuning in from today, whether it's the other side of the world or somewhere else in Canada. We are so happy to have you. And hopefully we can answer all of your questions today. So I'll just get started. I am going to turn my camera off just so I can flip through these slides. So I'm just going to go through our agenda really quickly. So a couple things that we have planned for this webinar is our social sciences introduction. So I'm just going to be taking it away for the next couple minutes until about 9:20, but this will take up about an hour. So hopefully we can get everything answered for you and everything like that. So I'll talk a little bit about our entry pathway programs, which are just our first year programs that we have, and then our level 2 programs, which are your upper year, and what you'll declare your major as. And then I'll talk a little bit about our life at Mac and in Hamilton, Ontario, and then the different student supports that we have. And then at around 9:20 or so, we're going to have our faculty and student panel. We are so lucky to be joined by a couple of our students, two of which are graduating this year, and also two of our professors, Dr. Jessica Maxwell and Dr. Andrea Lawlor. And then I will toss it over to Karen Thornburn, who is joining us as well, who is going to be talking a little bit about our co-op careers, and she'll touch a little bit more on the internships and different experiential learning education that we have at Social Sciences. So a little bit about me. So my name is Stephen. I am the Recruiting and Promotion Coordinator with the Faculty of Social Sciences. I graduated in 2021 from Brock University with a BA in Media and Communication Studies. And I've been in the role for about 4 months now, so I'm new to social sciences, but I've learned a lot over the time that I've been here. Previously, I was working in housing for McMaster. So I've been with McMaster for almost about 3 years now. So I'll talk a little bit about just a couple fast facts. I'll get into more later on. But social sciences at McMaster is ranked top 10 as one of the best universities for social sciences degree in Canada. We have over 70 study abroad program destinations. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. 8 co-op opportunities and paid internships for all programs, and 2 Mohawk McMaster certificates. Mohawk is the college that also resides in Hamilton, Ontario. And then, so a little bit more about what we're about. So in social sciences, we're all about big questions and even bigger opportunities. We want you to be bold and stand out and graduate with a degree that lets you be yourself in a big way. Social sciences is about learning with a purpose and finding ways to improve human and societal health and the well-being of the communities around you. One thing that we do take pride in at social sciences is our flexibility and the different degree options that you can graduate with. So there's lots of different opportunities and ways that you can kind of work your way around while you are in social sciences, and different sort of pathways that you can take while you're here. So there's really just a program for every sort of passion. One thing that I tell students all the time is that it's not necessarily about what job you get from what degree. Obviously, that is an obvious answer, but it's also about the courses and the experiences that you choose while you are at McMaster and while you are in social sciences. Like I said, it's very, very flexible. So we have a program for every sort of passion. Are you someone that's interested in leadership and government, or perhaps you love learning why people make certain choices? There's really a path and program for you. So we really encourage students to just focus on the different options in terms of classes and take the classes that you're interested in rather just fixating on one specific subject. So we'll see where your interests lie. So we have 14 departments, schools, and interdisciplinary programs, 12 of which are undergraduate programs. I haven't listed the grad programs here, but there are a lot of different programs in terms of what you can study. The next slide should have some more details about the level 2 programs that we have. So this is really just a comprehensive list of all of our level 2 programs or upper year programs. There are a lot of different options that can be taken as a minor, and then also all of these have a paid internship option. And then, like I mentioned earlier, there are 8 different co-op options. And then I'll talk a little bit about our level 1 programs. So our level 1 is what you would have received an offer for. Again, congratulations for your offer to social sciences at McMaster University. It might be Economics 1. So Economics 1 is a study of how individuals and businesses and governments make choices in the face of scarcity. If you're curious about economic theories, systems, and policies that affect the world we live in, this is a great option for you. Um, uh, Basically, whenever economics is I'm just going to start over. Economics is a study of how individuals, businesses, and governments make choices in the face of scarcity. So this is when resources are really limited and cannot satisfy all the wants and needs. This is really just an introduction to the foundational theories, systems, and policies that will create a solid foundation for economics degree programs. Economics 1 is one of our 3 entry pathways that you might have seen on one of the slides earlier. So this is a direct gateway to your degree program. So this entry pathway is geared towards students who have an interest in pursuing economics, but you will have the flexibility to explore courses from a variety of disciplines and programs, but with the opportunity to take specific courses with other students interested in further pursuing economics. So it will be nice in your first year to have that cohort of people who are, or other students who have like-minded interests in studies. One thing that I'll mention is the requirements for this. As you can see, we require a mid-80s average, your top 6, so your 4U 4M courses, including English 4U, and then advanced functions 4U and calculus and vectors 4U. Now, wherever you are, this might be, the equivalent might be a little bit different, but the subject really is calculus and functions for you. And then I will talk about health and society. So health and society 1, if you're curious about how health policy and decision-making and mental health can affect human behavior and societies in the world that we live in, this is a great choice. Health and Society 1 is one of our 3 entry pathways and the gateway to your degree program. The entry pathway is really geared towards students who have interest in students with health, aging, and society. So if you have sort of a healthcare mind in terms of that sort of sense and the societal aspect of it, you'll delve into a diverse range of subjects, including sociology, anthropology, public health, and policy studies. Through Health and Society 1, you have the opportunity to explore the intersection of health, society, and well-being through the lens of social sciences. And then, similar to Economics 1, you'll experience classes with other students who are interested in pursuing the same sort of subject as you are. And then there's also a big emphasis on experiential education, community partnered research. So this is a really great opportunity for those who are interested in pursuing health, aging, and society programs. The requirements are also the same in terms of the top 6 courses. You don't need calculus and vectors for health and society, but it is a mid-80s average for this one, and then English 4U again. And then I'll move on to Social Sciences 1, which is one of our, again, this is our last entry pathway, but this is more of a flexible option. A lot of you may have been admitted into Social Sciences 1, or sorry, offered Social Sciences 1, but you'll have the flexibility to explore courses from a variety of programs and disciplines. Level 1 courses are really designed to provide an overview of each program to help you choose one that's best suited to your interests. So there's lots of options in terms of what you can choose to study if you are enrolled in Social Sciences 1. And then I will say with all these level one programs at the end of your first year, no matter what pathway you're in, whether it's Econ 1, Health and Society 1, or Social Sciences 1, you'll apply to the top programs of your choice. And then you should hear back around June in terms of which one you have been admitted into or accepted into. And then the beauty of social sciences one is you may come in with a degree in mind and finish with another. So it's really truly a program of choice. Depending on your major of interest, like psych or economics, we recommend that you take advanced functions and calculus and vectors if you are enrolled in social sciences one and then want to pursue economics. And then for psychology, which I will say explicitly, psychology, neuroscience, and behavior, we would require you to have grade 12 biology for that one. So our next slide. So you really don't have to miss out on anything with a social sciences degree. You can design your degree that sets you apart. The beauty of a social sciences degree is the program flexibility, as I mentioned before. You can really customize your degree in so many different ways, all of which provide you opportunities for additional experiences and credentials that set you apart. I won't talk too much about the co-op and internship options since we will have a presentation towards the end of this webinar, but we have 8 different co-op options, 5 of which are new to the upcoming academic year. Outside of that, students in every program can take internships. There's also our study abroad option, so you can study abroad. This is done with our Student Success Center, and you can choose from over 70 destinations and gain credits towards your McMaster degree. So it wouldn't set you apart, it wouldn't set you apart. It wouldn't take you back. So if you're someone who likes exploring and traveling, you can study at a different university, and then you can accumulate credits that would go towards your McMaster degree. So you wouldn't be held back or you wouldn't be delayed in graduating, if that makes sense. Then there's also our certificates and minors. I'll talk a little bit more about that in our next slide. And then lastly, our student research. We're very lucky that McMaster is one of Canada's most research-intensive universities, which means that you'll have access to some world-renowned researchers and faculty members right here in the social sciences. Students will be able to experience hands-on learning in the classroom, many times research-based with real community groups, real issues, and real needs. Students can apply for something called an undergraduate student research award, which gives them an amount of money to pursue a specific research project alongside a faculty member. I'll talk a little bit about that in the next slide as well. So our scholarships and awards. So our automatic entry scholarships is one thing that I'll mention for international students. You'll receive scholarships in years 2 to 4 based on your academic merit, ensuring that your GPA remains above the academic minimum. There's also McMaster Aid-in Awards, which is operated by Registrar's Office. So there's lots of different options on there. The link is on here in terms of the different awards and scholarships that you can apply for. It would be applied for just from AwardSpring. And then there's also, as I mentioned before, our USRAs, or our McMaster Undergraduate Student Research Awards. Just holistically to explain this, the McMaster Undergraduate Student Research Awards support undergraduate research projects that are to be completed over a period of approximately 16 weeks under the supervision of a faculty member. Students are expected to devote approximately 10 to 20 hours per week to research activities. This is a great opportunity because USRAs are valued at $7,500 and there are up to 18 awarded annually. And then I'll jump a little bit into our life at McMaster. I'll kind of explain this quickly just because I'm running a little bit behind on time. But just to talk a little bit about life at Mac, McMaster is a beautiful campus with appeal and aesthetic. I'm not talking from a bias. It's not too big or too small. We're home to over 36,000 students, many of which are international and out of province like yourself. We're number one in student services to support the health and wellness of students. So we have a lot of different resources and different services, as I mentioned, number one in student services that will really that really provide you with the support that you'll need while you are pursuing your degree at McMaster. So we have lots of different options as well. So Student Wellness Center, Student Accessibility Center. There's also a Black Student Success Center, just to name a couple, but there are lots of different services around campus that you can use. And then we also have supports right in the Faculty of Social Sciences as well, such as our academic advisors and also our co-op and internship advisors as well, which are really just there to kind of guide you along the way. There's really no harm in making appointments with them at all. If you're ever stuck or have any questions, I always say try and book an appointment with an academic advisor and you'll leave hopefully having your answers or your questions answered, but they are very, very insightful and knowledgeable people to talk to. There's also our NSSS Student Society, which holds events for Sockeye students, such as our Welcome Week events. So if you're living on residence, I will say that there are a lot of Welcome Week activities, or whether you're living on residence or not. But the MSSS Student Society organizes a lot of these events for social sciences students. And then in terms of residence, it is guaranteed for out of province and international students. There's 13 different residence buildings to choose from and one off-campus residence. New to this year, it is actually guaranteed for all 4 years for international students to live on residence. And then just to talk a little bit about Hamilton, so McMaster is located in our Westdale area of Hamilton, which is just west of downtown. It's about I want to say a 5 to 10 minute bus ride from downtown if you are living off campus. So very, very close. And then it's a very quaint lifestyle and a great distance from other places. So for instance, Hamilton, distance-wise, very close to Niagara and Toronto, about 45 minutes. Super easy to just hop on a GO train or hop on a GO bus and go to Toronto or Niagara for the day if you're someone who's interested in things like Niagara Falls or something like the different wineries that are around. Really great option and a really, really great location in terms of where you can spend the next 3 to 4 years, depending how long or what degree you go for. And then also just to talk a little bit about Hamilton. Hamilton has a great food scene and very beautiful parks and lots of different things to do. Lots of different waterfalls. One of my favorites is Super Crawl, which is something that happens on James Street North. You may not be familiar where that is, but that is downtown. And there's lots of different activities, music, and different vendors that are around. So lots of different things around Hamilton and the surrounding areas, but I will wrap it up now. Hopefully I've answered enough. I've answered enough of your questions already, but I'll turn my camera back on now. I'll toss it to our panel, and I'm hoping you guys can also turn your cameras on now. And I will let everyone sort of introduce themselves. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in our Q&A and we will be sure to answer them as much as we can. Otherwise, you're welcome to ask them now. And I will toss it to everyone now to kind of introduce themselves. So as I mentioned earlier, we're joined by a couple of our students and our professors as well. I'm not sure if Arian is here. Yes, you are. Okay, perfect. I had to flip my to see everyone for a second because I can only see so much. Um, so I will let everyone kind of introduce themselves and sort of go down the line in terms of you can talk a little bit about who you are and what you're studying if you're a student or if you are a professor, talk a little bit about the sort of things that you teach and a little bit about your background would be great. So I guess I'll start with Maya.
Hi everyone, my name is Maya Ferguson. I am graduating from the Health and Society program, and I did a specialization in mental health and addictions. I also was able to be a work study student in the office of the Associate Dean for the Faculty of Social Sciences for 3 years of my undergrad. So I can speak to a little bit about the work study experience if anybody has any questions about that. I also am and was involved in student research as well with the mental health center, the research on mental health center here at McMaster too. So if anybody has any questions about student research as well, I am more than happy to discuss anything about those areas. Yeah.
Thanks, Maya. I'll pass it to Curran next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Curran. I'm a first year student in social sciences level one. I work with Maya as well in recruitment, as well as Stephen and Megan, who's also with us today as well. I am in first year, so I've lived in residence, so I'm happy to talk about residence or anything else about the first year experience, courses, anything like that. So yeah, that's me.
Thanks. I'll pass it to Arian next, and then Arian, if you want to pass it to either Jess Maxwell or Andrea, totally up to you.
Sure, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Aryan Waswani. I'm actually graduating now, so I'm in the honors economics specialist option with a minor in finance. And I've been involved in clubs. So I've been involved in the McMaster Economic Society and a part of the ambassador team as well. So if you have any questions about that or the economics program, what life is like at McMaster, I'm also an international student and I'm an Indian, born and brought up in Dubai. So if you have any questions about what the shift was like, what the cultural change was like, how hard was it for me to change countries and experience a new world, I would be more than happy to answer that. And I'll pass it over to Dr. Jessica Maxwell.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Hi, my name is Jess Maxwell. I'm the acting director of the social psychology program here. So that is a program that you can get into in second year. And it's really great if you're thinking of a career in counseling. But we do prepare people for lots of different things. I'm really lucky because I get to teach classes that are about my own research. So I teach a class on romantic relationships and a class on human sexuality that I really, really enjoy. And I will also say I'm cross-appointed with Health, Aging, and Society. So if you have questions about that program, I'm more than happy to answer those as well. And I've been at McMaster, I think 2.5 years, and I really enjoy it here. And I think what stands out is just like how much of a sense of community there is. So happy to answer questions about really anything, but especially social psychology. And I'll pass it over to Andrea.
Good morning, everyone. So nice to meet you. My name's Andrea Lawler. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Political Science, and I'm also in the public policy program at the graduate level. So most of my work and teaching focuses on law in Canada. So we've got a lot of students and a lot of great programming options here in political science that are focused on the study of law. And many of our students, of course, have ambitions to go to law school, so we support them in that as well. But political science is a really broad field. We have specializations in things like international relations, comparative politics, Canadian politics, and public policy. And like I said, we do have one specialization in judicial politics and law. So lots of opportunities within this department to explore maybe some interests that you have in current events, whether it's elections or international conflict. We do have a fair amount of coverage in those areas. Mostly, I just want to indicate that you've made a wonderful choice in coming and deciding to come to Mac because it's a fantastic community. Just like my colleague has said, it's a really inviting and welcoming place. It's a lovely campus, a great place to spend 4 years, and I can confirm that because actually 20 some odd years ago, I did my undergraduate at McMaster as well. So I have nothing but great things to say. And it's not often that someone's so lucky to get to come home to their undergraduate school. But I was very excited to do so. So if you have any questions, whether it's about the political science, public policy, or law programs, please don't hesitate to ask, or if there's anything we can offer you in terms of support on making that transition to university here at McMaster, delighted to help.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us again, and I appreciate all of your introductions as well. I will just ask our first question. Sophie asked, are all soc sci majors open to students looking to take this leadership and civic studies dual degree? For instance, I know that political science is a combination option. Is the political science with a focus on global citizenship also included in this, since it's a little bit different? Same for environment and society, since there are multiple pathways available. So you can't combine global citizenship only with poli-sci generally. But I will open it up to whoever would like to answer that.
Because that one is a Wilson College one, I'm happy to answer it. I think that that one is a little bit more focused on the leadership and civic studies dual program. It's a great question. Unfortunately, you can't do the double major in any of our specializations, so that global citizenship isn't an option, but poli-sci absolutely is. Same with that environment and society. That's absolutely an option for you. So all of our kind of general department programs are up for grabs. So econ, poli-sci, environment and society, health, aging and society, P&B, lots of options for you. It's just when you get down to those specializations, because those require specific courses with a specific amount of time. The Wilson Leadership and Civic Studies program we weren't necessarily didn't have the opportunity to balance out the course load that was required for both. But definitely just the regular poli-sci degree and absolutely the environment and society. And I feel like the environment and society would be such a great addition to that leadership and civic engagement. That would be a really cool one.
I will also add to that. So this is our, as Megan mentioned, this is our Wilson College of Leadership and Civic Engagement. So this is a brand new program that we have that's combined between humanities and social sciences. So this is a great option in terms of if you're someone who enjoys the study of leadership, and there's lots of different degree options too. And as I mentioned earlier, there's always a chance that your interests will actually change whenever you're studying, and there's a lot of different combined options as well. But like I said, a brand new program, so a great way to kind of get involved in that way and be part of a brand new program or be part of the very first cohort of Wilson College. So it's very exciting. I will ask our next question. We don't have any in the Q&A, so feel free to keep leaving your questions. There's no big or small questions, so feel free to drop whichever ones you'd like. But I'll just ask a couple that I have set off to the side. For students and professors, anyone who'd like to answer, what's your first year experience like? And did you like being in a general pathway program?
Well, I am in first year, so I can definitely pick that one up. It's a very good experience being in first year. The benefit I am in social sciences one, which I guess is the most broad of the direct entry pathways. And in social sciences one, you have opportunities to customize your entire schedule. Your entire course load is up to you in terms of what courses you take. So you have 10 classes that you would take as a full course load for the year, and you can really pull from all 12 of the different departments when you're building your schedule, and so you're really able to find out what your interests are. I know lots of people, like Stephen had mentioned earlier, who had come here with something in mind for what they wanted to do and had changed their mind by the end of the year completely. So you really do have a lot of flexibility in that first year to have those experiences as you see fit.
Okay, thanks, Karin. Does anyone else want to share their first year experience? I know Maya and Arian, it's been a little bit of time for you, but maybe you can kind of talk a little bit about, I guess, where you were in your first year and sort of how you've kind of grown and how you've kind of progressed over the last couple years and where you're headed.
Yeah, Curran pretty much nailed it, but thinking back, a whole 4 years ago. Yeah, first year's a really great experience just to like kind of find yourself and understand like what your interests are. Like Karen briefly mentioned, you go in with something and not all the time it's something that you think you're going to pursue for the next 4 years. Me personally, like I think I switched my interest probably about 3 times before I landed on my major. And so that like with the help of the general entry pathway, that was really, really helpful to know that that's okay and that's a normal experience and that everybody, most people experience that. So not to like go in with like a super, super just like single pathway, and keep your options open. Like it's always fun to explore all the different programs that social sciences has to offer. As well as I think first year is really good for getting your foot in the door, just in terms of experience, joining clubs, being a part of, societies and whatnot. It's a really great experience because everybody's kind of going in, everybody's in the same place, right? So you're not like, a new kid by yourself. You're a new kid with a whole bunch of new kids. So it's really great to put your foot out there and just like join some clubs, join some societies, get an interest in research, get an interest in work study, kind of like understand where you're going to go for the next few years.
Great, thanks, Maya. Ariane, did you want to add anything?
To be honest, I think Curran and Maya have done a great job summarizing what first year is like, but I remember my first semester being I was a bit sad because it was COVID, so it was completely online and I did it from Dubai. So I didn't get too much experience in my first semester, but second semester I moved into a residence and that's when the real experience actually started. That's when I started getting out of my comfort zone, experiencing new things. I had joined the Economic Society by then, but I got to do a lot more once things shifted in person. So it just gave me an opportunity to learn a lot about myself, and it was a great experience overall. I was in the direct entry for Economics 1, so I kind of knew I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I would say I'm pretty close now, 4 years down the line, of what I was thinking I was going to do in first year. So I mean, there are people who have the options to look at different options, and I think Soxa is really good for that because there's so much flexibility. There's so many different options. So explore. Especially in my first year, I explored quite a bit because even with the direct entry, there were so many course options for me to take because I only had 3 required courses and the rest 7 I could take anything. So I would say explore your options and find your interest.
Thank you so much. I will move on to our next question. Um, we actually have one in the chat that I've just noticed now. So Rima is asking, I got into health and society at McMaster. I was wondering what each year looked like in depth and what to expect from each year. Maya, this might be a good one for you to answer,
Yeah.
or even just Maxwell possibly, or anyone who really wants to jump in. But Maya is in health and society graduating, so she's a great option, or she would be great to answer that question if you don't mind.
Yeah, I can take this one and then Jess, if you want to, add on or jump in or whatever, if I miss anything. Okay, so the Health and Society program, it's a really great program. I didn't start out direct entry, but for the direct entry, it's very similar to the economics program where you've got I think 3 or 4 required courses in your first year, and then you get a whole bunch of electives to explore for the rest of that time. As you go on, basically what it looks like is you can specialize or you can, kind of customize your major. So the Health and Society program is part of the broader Health, Aging, and Society program, and with that, there's a few different degree combinations. So there's Health and Society, Health and Aging, and then I can't remember the last one. Sorry, my brain's not working right now. But then you also have the specialization for mental health and addictions as well. And so that kind of really depends, and kind of makes what your 4 years are going to look like. So for me, with the health and society, specialization in mental health and addictions, I took a lot of classes on, mental health, addictions, society and its addictions, society and mental health, but then also understanding classes on understanding like the healthcare system. I took health economics. In my third year, I took health policy, I took healthcare systems. So it kind of really depends on what your interests in that realm look like. So if you're in aging, it looks a little bit different, obviously, because there's a lot more classes on gerontology fields as well. And then also what's really cool about the Health and Society program as well is that we get, in your third year, you get a field work course. And basically what that looks like is in one of your semesters, you get to basically use your skills and yeah, use that in a work experience. It's not paid, but it's definitely really cool for the semester just to understand how you can use your health and society learning and knowledge and implement that in real life situations. So there's people that work at the YMCA, the YWCA. There's people that have worked at some of the retirement homes around the corner, and etc. So those are really great experiences and within the health and society program. It just kind of depends on where your interests lie. And you'll kind of figure that out in your first year as you take the 3 introductory courses, because they're all very different and very special in their own way.
Yeah, I feel like Maya did a great job talking about the program. I don't think I have too much to add other than you can always look at the academic calendar to see what exact classes you need to take. And there's so much flexibility with health and society. So I think that's something we heard from Maya. But just as an example, like you can take my class, which is about sexuality and well-being. You can take classes on death and dying. You can take classes on like pets and how they're good for health. So it really is a really broad spectrum. And what I love about Health and Society is it is a small group. It's a small cohort relatively. So we get very like tight. There's the ability to do an honors thesis if you like research. The student society is really active. So we always have like a big semi-formal with profs and students. So it's a really nice sense of community. And again, I think program wise, the breadth is something that really attracts me to it, where there's, just a little bit of everything, which is great.
Great, thank you so much. I will answer our next question. So Ines had in the chat, is it a separate tuition to study abroad? Would it be international student prices? The answer is no. It's the same tuition, but you might be looking to pay different prices for things like residence, and also just the cost of living might be different based on where you're looking to travel to or study at. So hopefully that answers your question. I'll also say, as I mentioned before in my presentation, this is something that's done by Student Success Center, but you can go onto our website and then you can go to the exchange section on our website to learn more a little bit about that. Megan just put in the chats. Thank you so much. And then, so I'll ask our last question. I know Karen's going to be presenting a little bit, but Andrea, I'll give you some time to kind of chat a little bit. So the question I'll ask for, well, Andrea and Jess, what kinds of supports are in place to help with grad school opportunities? So for example, law school or becoming a psychologist, things like that.
Sure, I can start. Most departments have their own internal supports for students applying to grad school. For example, that could be a session usually in the fall of any given year where we talk about, why apply to grad school, what you should be thinking about, what does a good statement of interest look like, what are the requirements that you would have to access programs, whether it's here or abroad. So there are those sorts of informational supports. There are also a lot of times it's sort of one-on-one with a faculty member with whom you've been working over the previous year or two, in order to understand, what's a good pathway, what would be a great next step if I'm interested in pursuing this particular dimension of what I've been studying. There are also clubs and groups that exist on campus. So if you're thinking about applying to law school, we have a wonderful pre-law society and a mooting or debating group that kind of helps give you some of that preparation in terms of thinking about writing the LSAT, or sometimes they'll have practicing lawyers or judges come in to speak to students about what that career pathway could look like. So there are a lot of supports around the university. It does mean that the student should probably try and get as widely involved as possible. I mean, I think there's all sorts of benefits from joining these clubs in your second or third year or even earlier, in order to create that community, because it's so much easier to figure out how to successfully apply to law school or graduate school if you've got not just your faculty and not just the university offerings, but you also have a group of peers who are going through the same thing. So I would say both at the department level, but also the clubs and societies on campus.
Well said, Andrea. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jessica?
I was going to say that's a great answer. I think similarly in social psych, we do things like our society does an open how to apply to grad school session, and then we do it also in the mandatory fourth year class. We also have a great resource page where we have like recordings from previous years, lots of resources with help from Cindy from the faculty careers office. We have also a list of like volunteer opportunities that look really good when you're applying to sort of like counseling or psychotherapy. So it's definitely on all of our minds that a lot of the students want to pursue grad school. So we're doing kind of those types of things. We're also in like doing some things such as in third year, we have a course where you get to actually work with a community organization to help solve a problem. So to kind of like expose you to some different ideas and gain some skills that way. And then I guess too, it's maybe not directly like how to get into grad school, but our fourth year, we do a group thesis. So that's giving everyone hands-on research experience, which looks really good for psychology focused grad schools and really any type of grad school. So, and then like Andrea said, just our profs are always really willing and supportive of students who are applying. And so I meet with a lot of students to kind of one-on-one walk them through what that might look like.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I will wrap it up here, but thank you everyone for your answers. And everyone who asked a question, feel free to keep leaving them in our Q&A. We're just a little bit tight on time, so I do have to go into our next section or next part of our agenda, I'll say. So Karen Thornburn will be presenting a little bit about our co-op and internships and experiential education. Karen is one of our advisors here in social sciences, so she can answer any of your questions about internships and different experiential learning. But again, thank you everyone, and thank you to all of our panelists. And I will toss it over to you now, Karen.
Thank you, Stephen. Hello, everyone. My name is Karen Thorburn, as Stephen mentioned, and my role in the Faculty of Social Sciences is within the team of Careers and Experiential Education. And Mark Busser is the manager of that department as well, and he's joining us here as well today. So we maybe tag teaming a little bit of the information I'll be sharing. But first of all, congratulations to all of you who have received offers to McMaster's Social Sciences faculty. We hope to get a chance to meet you along your journey here at McMaster. So, I'll just move to my next slide here. Just one second here. There we go. Okay, so just to start the presentation, I will highlight a little bit specifically about our co-op program. So for your incoming class, we will have 8 co-op program options for you, degree options. And you can see those options on the screen here. So you can see they cover a large variety of the social sciences programs within the faculty. And previously, we have had for a few years now, political science, economics, and work and labor studies have been the ones that kind of started it off. And the other 5 are going to be added in for your year. So we're very excited to be expanding the program as it grows and has proven to be successful for a number of our social sciences students. And as Stephen mentioned as well, if you do have any questions through this brief presentation, please feel free to leave them in the chat or the Q&A, and we can definitely answer those for you. Specifically, there may be students I understand from out of province, as well as international students. So to our international students, we would be excited to welcome you into co-op specifically as well. You can know that as an international student, you are eligible for co-op. And once you are admitted to the co-op program, which is after your level 1 or your first year, then there's an application process, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But once you are admitted to the co-op program stream, you will be receiving documentation that will help you to obtain a specific co-op work permit to add to your student visa. so that it will allow you to be eligible to work during the academic year throughout your degree at McMaster. Okay. Okay, so in terms of co-op specifically, you will have noticed that there's currently no direct entry for co-op, which means that basically once you're in level 1 or your first year in the winter term, there will be an application form that you'll fill out, and you'll hear lots about that once you arrive at McMaster, and the application form will be there. There's a video interview component as well in your first year. And then you find out the admissions decision for co-op in the summer or the spring summer term of between first and second year, or level 1 and level 2. Okay, so you'll hear a lot more about the details of co-op admissions once you are here, but this is just a brief outlook of what co-op sequencing looks like in your time at McMaster. So it is a 5-year program. And you would start off in first year. And I should mention as well, if you are, whatever program you do decide, your courses in particular will look identical to anyone else in economics or any of the other programs, political science, anthropology, whatever it might be in the 8 co-op programs. Your actual study, your courses will look, and those requirements will look exactly the same as someone who is not in the co-op degree option. So you'll be taking identical courses and identical requirements in terms of your academic courses. However, you will be essentially sprinkling into your degree program 3 separate 4-month work terms. So you can see on the screen our default sequence looks like once second year begins, you'll be taking a couple preparation courses. So we will assist and support students in taking 2EL3, which helps you with your resume and your cover letter and interviewing skills, career exploration, what it might look like to do career in your field of interest. And then in the winter term there, we really start to apply all of those skills that we learned in preparation to actually apply for jobs. And so it's a job search term before every work term that you will go out on. So you can see the first one would be the summer between your second and your third year, or level 2 and level 3. And then from there, we do have you in 2 other work terms for winter terms in your third and fourth year. So if there's any questions about that, you can definitely ask. Mark, is there anything that you wanted to add before I continue on? No.
No, I think you've covered it pretty nicely. Yeah, just no, let's pause there. That's good.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Mark. So if co-op, like looking at the co-op program, there, I will say as well, the work terms are a required part of your degree. So doing co-op means that you are required to complete these 3 4-month work terms in order to graduate with co-op degree on your parchment, on your degree, on your one that you printed out when you walk across that stage, right? So it is a requirement, as are your courses for your program of study. So are the actual work terms that you would do. And as another option for having paid work experience, you may also participate in our paid internship program. So our paid internship program is not limited to just the 8 programs that we have for co-op. It is actually an option for any student in social sciences, regardless of their program of choice. So that's exciting to you, and you can do as many or as few internships as you would like in your degree. So the only prerequisite to doing an internship in our program would be that you take that preparation course, that SOC-Sci 2EL3 that I mentioned, where you do that career exploration, your resume, cover letter, just any kinds of things like that. And that course is a 3-unit course as well. So it will go towards the units that you need to graduate, which is exciting. So that is a prerequisite course in order to do an internship. And once you do, this is true for both co-ops and internships. Once you do get admitted to co-op, and once you do complete the course as a social sciences student for internships, you will gain access to our internship or co-op job board. So we have exclusive opportunities for our students to to be able to access jobs from employers that come to us in the Faculty of Social Sciences and our careers and experiential education team. And they say, will you share this job with our students? We would really like to see sometimes a social sciences student specifically, sometimes it's a McMaster social sciences student specifically, right? And so you will have access to those job boards that we post opportunities. For internships as well, we do have a little bit more variety for 8, 12, or 16 months. Now, I will put a little bit of an asterisk beside that because for our international students, there are limits to the number of hours you can work during the academic year. And so you will need to be aware of those. I believe it's 24 hours or less during the academic year for international students. However, during the spring and summer term between between May and August, then you are able to do internships for full-time hours. So again, as the other portion of the difference between internships and co-ops is you can do as many or as few. It's elective. It's not required for your degree and to graduate. Okay, you may do an internship or you may decide not to do one. But regardless, both co-ops and internships are going to give you these amazing opportunities to apply what you're learning in the classroom into the work environment or other opportunities that in these particular areas, internships and co-ops, that will pay you for the work that you do in these fields. And so just to share really quickly, our students have worked in both all the private and public sectors, as well as with not-for-profit. So there's a large variety of roles. You can see a number of them listed here, from high-end car companies to more municipal, the city of Hamilton, not-for-profits like Habitat for Humanity, and government, federal and provincial government roles. We've had students work as legislative interns, within provincial government. And yeah, there's just a huge variety. You're working with economic development. You're doing policy analysis. You're working in some of the major banks here in Canada and doing a variety of work. There's also a number of our students who enjoy doing human resources type of work and recruitment and things like that. So yeah, there's a large variety of options for you within your social sciences work opportunities, whether it's internships and co-ops. Anything else that, again, Mark, that you, I'll just throw it quickly to you, anything you wanted to add about co-ops or internships or any experiential education? I'm just going to flip it quickly to careers after this.
Yeah, for sure. I do know there's a couple things I'd like to add, but I'm going to turn to Megan first, if that's okay. I think there's a question in the chat, unless I'm
You
unless we
did
already
get a
answered it.
question in the chat, Karen, and I'm pretty sure it's regarding the 2ELO course that you were talking about a couple slides ago. We
Okay.
had someone who's interested in pursuing the Wilson College Poli-Sci dual degree, and they wanted to know if it was possible to take that 2ELO if they were doing that dual degree with Wilson.
I'll take this one, and then
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
yeah, no problem. Because Wilson's new, which we're the first cohort to go through this is coming in right now, and the answer is yes. 2EL3 is open to students who are in Wilson College. Wilson College students will typically in their second year and beyond be doing a combined honors with either the Faculty of Humanities or with us here in Social Sciences. And either way, there are a course for each that are essentially partners for each other. They're mutually recognized, let's say. So yes, the career preparation course is open to students in Wilson College, and we'd love it if as many Wilson College students as possible do take that course. In case it's the third year internship, like paid internship experience that the student's asking about, the answer is also yes. Wilson College from the ground up is really interested in creating hands-on opportunities, and it's partnering with Faculty of Humanities and Faculty of Social Sciences, us, to make sure that all Wilson College students do have that freedom to take the prep course and then to apply into the internships. So yeah, the answer is yes.
Awesome.
Oh,
Um,
the other little thing I was going to add, just complementing Karen's points about internship is versus co-op, is just to underscore that both have advantages. So the internships are really flexible. You can sort of take them or not take them. They're not, they don't structure your degree, and that's great. But the benefits of co-op, even though you do need to take those 3 work terms, the motivation and drive does differ for co-op students because they're really committed in, and that helps them to secure experiences. But in addition, I'll just mention that in Canada and in Ontario, there are some special incentives for employers to hire specifically co-op students. The federal government prefers co-op students who need to work as a part of their degree, and sometimes they'll have jobs that are exclusively for those students. The same goes for certain tax credits or financial things that essentially that just mean that some opportunities are uniquely set aside for co-op students who have made that scarier commitment, whereas the internship program is flexible, it won't have some of those opportunities. So really, there's advantages to both, and which path works best for each student is totally respectable, but there are some advantages even to that co-op program, not even, especially to co-op because it goes on your parchment, it's required for your program, and it really lifts you up in employers' eyes when you finish. So that's just a small point about the fact that the 2 things might seem like they're the same, but just one's more rigid and the other's more loose, but the rigidity of co-op comes with a lot of advantages for employability, especially in government roles or in some of our prestigious roles.
Thanks, Mark. Just to wrap it up, because I am aware, Stephen, I know we're over time already. And so I just want to encourage you not to be forgotten is a huge component of our team lies with career options, right? And so we understand that each of you, while choosing your program, are very interested in where that brings you in the next stages, right? Even beyond your undergrad. And so as Dr. Maxwell mentioned earlier, grad school is a huge component of that. And she also referred to Cindy Schooley, who is our own in social sciences career advisor. And so you are able to access her services and her mentoring in terms of different career options for you as you explore those careers. We have an amazing website as well that's been set up. And I know Mark and Cindy have both worked really hard on this. And so if you have a chance to go to our website in the next coming weeks or anything, do have a look, because we do not only like talk about career options by category and sector, but you can even look at your own program that you might be interested in or you received an offer for, that you'd want to choose in level 2 program selection. You can see even some career profiles from some of our alumni, and so I encourage you to have a look there, and also just in general on our website, because not to brag, but I think it's a really great part of and show of what we have to offer for you as social sciences students in terms of career options, international students in particular, skill development, and then it goes into details like I did probably already for co-op and internship. So thanks everyone so much for your time, and thank you to the recruitment team for allowing us to share.
Thank you. And yeah, thank you, Karen and Mark. Your information was very, very insightful. So I appreciate that. I was actually going to say I put the link to the career site in the chat. So as Karen said, please do take a look. It is very insightful, and it's very, very informative in terms of what you can really do with your degree. So thank you so much. And I will wrap it up here. There's also, for those of you who have attended, we do have a giveaway going on for a chance to win a McMaster sweater. So I will be sure to be in contact with whomever is our very lucky winner to win that. But thank you so much for everyone who's attended, and I will wrap it up here. Again, wherever you're joining us from, whether it's on the other side of the world or it's somewhere else in Canada, have a good rest of your day, but have a good rest of your week as well. And thanks for joining us. Bye, everyone.